Good afternoon, Adita. How are you today?
Oh, you remembered. Good morning. Good morning, Deborah. I'm very well, thank you.
Great to
Thank
see your
you.
lovely face from England.
Nice to see you too. A lovely face from
Happy
Washington.
Mo- Happy Monday.
Yes, happy Monday.
So we're here again for all of you that might be tuning in for the first time. Adita and I are coaches with the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. So we coach, teach, train. We also do speaking. Today we're going to be talking about one of the amazing books that John has written. He's written over 80 books, John Maxwell. This one's called Leadershift, the 11 essential changes every leader must embrace. And today we're talking about ladder climbing to ladder building. It's the reproduction shift. So it's like after you build your technical skills and you're starting to move up in leadership, the key is to build other people along with you and make sure that what you're learning you're sharing with others, so you're reproducing in other people and helping them, and and also remembering where you came from, because we're standing on the people that have created a lot of things and we're learning from them, and so they've passed it on to us, and our role is to pass it on to other people. So anyway, I just wanted to start off with asking Vita what her thoughts were about this chapter.
I This chapter so far was my favorite. I think I said this about last time, but I think this chapter was my favorite. Okay, and I love the ladder stages there, because the ladder stages is four of them, and of course I would not talk about all of them now because we don't have enough time. I like all of them, but I think I resonated a lot with two, but I will talk only about one.
Okay.
So I think the most is the first one is the ladder climbing, and what it says, how high can I go? And many times we're talking that we have to help others, but before we help others, we have to help ourselves. And when you climb this ladder, you demonstrate achievements that will cause that people will follow you, would want to follow you. And that's why it's very important, because many times I even seen once a lady speaking, and she said people don't follow you because you're not good enough. And I was thinking, what, excuse me? But actually I agree with that. And that's the point. When you climb the ladder, you get credibility, you get authority, and you get trust from people, because they know what you are doing, and you know which direction you're going. And also, the longer you stay on the ladder and the high up you go, the higher you go, it's gonna be resulted in your better future, because you're gonna be stronger, and your strength, and you're gonna have better reputation, and you'll be trustworthy. People will trust you. And also, many times people think, not many times people, maybe I'm talking about myself more than other people, that um you cannot get something, you cannot get something good at if you're not going to go through that. If you're not going to, you can't teach somebody if you're not going to teach yourself. And I heard when Mark Cole, our amazing mentor from Maxwell Leadership Team, he said the first step in great leadership is not to lead others, but to lead ourselves first. And before you can effectively teach others, lead others, you must effectively lead yourself first. So I think, and also one quote that is, the quote is in the book, and Glenn Turner said, the hardest challenge of getting to the top of the ladder was getting through the crowd at the bottom. And that's what it is. As long we're not going to stick to it, as long we're not going to have the commitment and solid foundation, that's why things are not working out. And that's why I like that, because it's really, I understand that you have to come out of the crowd, you have to be in 10% of people, and that's what you have to show you by your character, by foundation of this, what you do, and how high you're gonna go, first of all, yourself on the ladder.
I love that. I love what essentially what you're saying is and building your skill set first is
Yes.
you can't drink out of an empty well, right? So you
Yes.
can't pass anything on if you haven't filled up your capacity first. So I love that. And one other thing that I liked about this whole chapter, we were talking about the 4 ladders. The 4 ladders are ladder climbing, the one you just talked about, ladder holding, how high will others go with a little help, ladder extending, how high will others go with a lot of help, ladder building, can I help them build their own ladder? So those are the 4 ladders. So Adita just talked about the first one. The one that I really like is ladder extending, how high will others go with a lot of help? So the key here is that when you're working with other people, you've obviously built your skill set and then you're passing it on to other people and you're trying to help them build their ladders. What kind of resources have you surrounded yourself with? Because obviously you're not going to be an expert at everything. And so you'll have to draw in other experts to help out with this whole process in what you're doing and then passing it on to others. So one of the things John Maxwell did was he sought different mentors. And it's not just one type of mentor. He had mentors for different areas, like how to build relationships, how to equip other people, how to have a good attitude, how to build your leadership capability, communication, health, faith, like all these different aspects. So he had mentors in all these areas. So as he built his capacity, and he also had other people, he was able to pass all those resources on to others to help them extend their ladder even further. And so what we mean by that is you're going to have the ability to do what you can actually do, but there's so much more that you can do when you have other people around you that are skilled in different things. So that's the one thing that I really like about the 4 ladders. What was your key takeaway, Adita, from this session, from your from the chapter?
From the chapter, I think also I said about ladder climbing, I loved it, but I think we have to mention also about ladder holding. This is the second stage. And how high will others go with a little help? And important is to mention little help, because you have to, as a leader, invest in people, and that's very important. But also, people needs to invest in themselves. And as you were saying about this extending the ladder, you have to hold the ladder long enough so if you want to extend the ladder or not. Because many times people don't put much effort in it. In anything they do, so they don't put much effort in it, and we kind of extend the ladder. We don't let them to stretch themselves. We don't let them to use all the abilities, because we are just extending the ladder for them, when actually you have to stay and wait until pretty much if it's worth it or not, or how the other ways you can help that person.
I like what you said, because it's one of the key takeaways that I had from the chapter. So people have to put their own effort in, and before you start giving them or extending the ladder, they have to do a little themselves, like you were saying. They have to take the initiative, before you add on all these resources. Otherwise, it's not going to be valuable to them. So my key point, key takeaway from this is really to think about and ask the right questions before you start mentoring someone, because it really has to be, you only have so much time. And so what you want to do is make sure that your time is being dedicated to someone who finds it valuable and is going to do something with it. And the question is, is this person really hungry to learn? Like, are they really learning? Are they really there to learn and then apply what they're learning? What is their capacity? What is it that they can do right now? I mean, is this the right time for them? The other thing is, do they have the same values that you do? Like, if they have values that are completely diametrically opposed to what you believe in, it's going to be really hard to mentor that person, right? They need to find someone that has the same values they do. Otherwise, you're going to be debating rather than building. And the other thing is, give them their wings, like help them. You're right. Let them do a little, get out of their comfort zone, stretch, give them those wings, and then just guide, not tell, but guide. But it has to be the right person, because if they're not willing to get back up and get out of their comfort zone, then maybe this just isn't the right time for them, and maybe they need to work on something else. So that was my key takeaway. And when you do that, you're truly leaving a legacy, and you're actually showing them how to leave a legacy. with other people. Because if you're working with people that aren't going to do anything, then nothing's going to happen for them, and nothing's going to happen for the people around them. Because when people start doing things and making things happen, it inspires other people, to do the same. If they see that you can do it, then they feel like, oh, I can do it too,
Exactly.
and so it's like the domino effect.
Yes,
What are your thoughts on that,
I think I
Aditi?
love that what you said, because to write the correct questions, because also sometimes there could be, when I'm looking back at myself when I started, I said, oh, I'm gonna change my future, I'm gonna find my purpose, and I did. But at the beginning, and I did. Thanks God for that. Thank you. But I think lots of things I was not ready before to take actions with, and I was not in the right time for things that I was doing, if that makes sense. I myself was trying to do things, but actually I was not ready for it. And that's what is important, what you said about the timing. We're not important all that we're not important for we're not ready for everything, sorry. We're not ready for everything. And that's why this ladder climbing is also, we can go through it and we can reflect. When we're climbing, we can stop and we can reflect, what have we learned and what have we achieved on that moment. And then when we're gonna find ourselves mentors, or we're gonna go further to the next stages, we can think if we are ready for that, because that's what is very important. Are you ready for the next stage? So many times I was disappointed with myself, because I was jumping into the stage when I actually wasn't ready. That's why I think the timing is very important here.
So timing is everything, and we want to challenge you to think about where you are on the ladder. Like, are you still ladder climbing? Are you in a phase where you're supposed to be ladder building? You're in even a position or a place where you should be ladder building, but you're not. So think about this. Ask yourself, what kind of questions are you asking yourself? Is this about me or is it about them? Where are you on the ladder, right?
Yes.
Success is not a standing ovation. It's walking out with people to help them develop a game plan. My talk is not to help me look good. It's to help them look good. Another thing to ask yourself is, when I'm done, don't expect to give them a hand. Invite them to come and shake my hand. And when they walk away, hope that they say, this person is really my friend. It's not just someone that I'm working with. It's someone that really cares about me. And that's kind of, you're building someone when you've got that connection and that kind of relationship. So it's not just about you. And on the way up the ladder, when you're building and you're climbing, just remember not to step on people on the way up, right?
Yes. And all way down. All
Or
way
on the way
down.
down, right? Because you might
Down
have to
or
go.
up is the
Yeah,
same.
you might have to go down. Yeah, you might have to go back down a few steps to learn after you may have failed on the way up, which is fine because that's how you learn. But yeah, when you go back down, make sure you don't do that when you're coming back up. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this session today. Adita, thank you so much for tuning in with me and
Thank
walking through
you.
this chapter. It is so great to see you again. Your lovely face, all the way from England.
Thank you. Thank you so
And we
much.
look forward to.
Yes, sorry, I appreciate your time as well. So thank you so much, Deborah. And yeah, we will speak again next week.
See you next Monday. Have a good
Thank you.
day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.